It's so
he's
big.
like, "You have
Next on the agenda is application 25-48 and WSP 0825 Millennium Pool Management LLC. This application be deemed complete.
Yes.
Yes. Is there a motion to deem the application complete?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kevin Duduque. I'm the owner and principal attorney of Katie Law in Turnersville, New Jersey. For purposes of your record, my last name is spelled D-I-D-U-C-H. I'm pronounced Duduque, but please just call me Kevin. It's a lot easier. It is my privilege this evening to present an application on behalf of my client, Millennial Pool Management LLC, doing business here in the Township of Monroe as Millennial Pools. The property in question is located within the Monroe Business Park, and specifically at 1041 Glassboro Road, specifically Suites A3 and A4. It's situated on your tax map as Block 13901, Lot 2801, and it's identified in your business park zone. There's two forms of relief that we noticed for this evening's application. We're going to talk a little bit about both of those this evening. The first of which is a use variance approval for the applicant to operate a commercial pool management business on the site. The second form of relief we're actually going to be withdrawing. So we had originally asked for a site plan waiver. We'd like to withdraw that request to make tonight's application and approval subject to a site plan approval, which we'll present at a future hearing after appropriate public hearing, public notice and presentation. So we do have two individuals who will be testifying this evening, the first of which will be Mr. Max Crispel. He is the owner and principal of Millennial Pool Management LLC. And we'll also have Mr. Samuel Agresta from Agresta Engineering and Planning, who will be presenting our professional planning testimony. So if I could have both of these individuals step forward so we can have them sworn in.
Okay, just both of you gentlemen, just state your names for the record.
Max Crispel.
Sam Agresta.
Okay, now you can raise your right hand. You swear affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay. Our first witness this evening is going to be Mr. Max Crispel. He's, again, the owner of the company itself. He's going to testify to some of the operations on the site, give you folks a flavor for what's going on there. So may I ask you to step forward. Max, please speak into the microphone so everybody can hear you.
Okay.
Max, just do me a favor. Tell me a little bit about your business. What specifically does your company do?
Sure. So we supply full-service pool management to HOAs, condo associations, hotels, motels. We do a lot of work with the casinos in Atlantic City. Majority of the work is, like I said, pool servicing, and then is American Red Cross lifeguard certifications, and then supplying those lifeguards to the facilities.
And in this complex, the Monroe Business Park, what other businesses are located around you?
So right next door to us, we have I believe it's called Queen Bee Cheerleading. They operate mostly at night, and then on an adjacent building, but right next door to us is East Coast Gymnastics. Again, they operate generally on the evenings and then on the weekends as well.
In terms of operating your business, how many employees do you have?
So I guess there's two steps to it. So we have a total, or this year we'll have close to 850 certified lifeguards that work as W-2 employees for us. But inside of our office, there's about 15, maybe 20 of us during the busy season.
Are they full-time employees? Are they part-time? What's
The-
the breakdown?
Yeah, the lifeguards are all seasonal for the most part. I'd say 95% of them are seasonal, so they work from Memorial Day until Labor Day, and then a lot of them go back to school, whether that be high school or college. The office staff are full-time employees. Their salary. In the wintertime, we don't normally require them to come into the office, but in the summertime, they're there Monday through Friday.
Okay. So what are you said Monday through Friday, what are your hours of operation during the week?
Just the regular 9 to 5 for most of the employees. I mean, if you come by at 6:30 at night, there's a chance that I'm still there, but for the most part, 9 to 5.
Is the site you're on open to the public?
No.
Let's talk about some of the operations of your business in terms of deliveries. You have deliveries on the site?
We do. So we have our chemicals are delivered to our facility. We warehouse them. They stay completely factory sealed the entire time. They're on pallets. They don't get opened at the facility. And then They get taken to the pools, used at the pools, and then the empty containers will come back.
So about how many deliveries would you expect to the site every day?
I'd say delivery-wise, we probably get 2 or 3 deliveries a week. However, we do send stuff out via FedEx and UPS, and so they come to pick up in the evenings, right around 4 o'clock.
Okay, and these deliveries, are they done in box trucks? What kinds of vehicles are coming onto the site to deliver the
Sure.
materials?
Majority of the deliveries are box trucks, and then majority of the stuff getting sent out is either in a UPS or FedEx van. When times do get busy, they'll come by with like a 26-footer, back up, get loaded up, and then they're out within 5 or 10 minutes.
And when you're sending materials out, what types of trucks and vehicles do you have to do? Do you do your own shipping for certain materials or no?
So when we take it to the pools, it is our own pickup trucks that take it directly to our commercial clients. For the shipments that go UPS and FedEx, that's boxed, and then UPS and FedEx come and pick it up.
About how many trucks do you have on the site?
In the summertime, all of the trucks are stored at our pool technician's house, so they're all off-site in the summertime. In the wintertime, they're stored in a side lot, in the gravel lot that's on the plan. I want to say there's probably 15 of them in the back corner.
And when you opened your business, did you need any sort of specialized licensing from either the county or the state health department?
We carry all of our Department of Transportation certs, everything that we need to transport chemicals we have. We obviously have our contractor's license. We're fully licensed and insured across
How
everything.
about the NJDEP? Is there any sort of requirement that you have to pass regulations for them to store certain chemicals or have them on site?
I believe we do, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Okay. So you would agree as a condition of approval in the event there are such requirements that you would comply with those?
Of course.
correct? In terms of the chemicals that are on site, do you do any sort of manufacturing or mixing of chemicals on site?
No, so we don't mix anything on site. We don't manufacture anything on site. We do have some household products that we do ship that we'll get in large containers or super sack, and then we'll put them into buckets, but none of that is hazardous material, chemicals, anything of that nature. It's play sand is a big one. Charcoal for fish tanks is another one, but none of the chlorine or anything. We don't mix hazardous materials.
And just so the board's aware, you don't own the site, you're leasing the property,
That's
correct? So between the 15 to 20 employees, my understanding based on your testimony is that only part of the year everyone is there, correct?
That's correct. So in the summertime, they're all there, and then Mondays are probably our busiest day with 16 to 17 people there. Tuesday through Fridays are normally a little calmer, maybe 10 to 12.
How is trash disposed on the site? Can you tell the board that?
Sure. So we use Daisy Disposal for all of our trash and dumpster needs. We have since upped it to a 30-yard dumpster that gets picked up weekly.
I don't have any further questions. Mr. Chair, we can turn it to the board for questions for Mr. Isbell.
We'll go to our professional if you have anything.
You can have Mr. Agresta testify next. I just wanted to.
Yes,
Okay.
you can keep on going.
Not a problem. All right, thank you so much.
Of
I
course.
appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Agresta, you can step forward.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. My name's Sam Agresta. I recently was qualified as an expert in engineering and planning before this board in January. If you'd like me to state my qualifications for the record again, I'd be happy to do so.
You're good.
Thank you.
So just to be clear, the board will accept him as a professional and professional.
Yeah, still accept him as a
expert.
professional.
Thank you.
Very well. Thank you all. I'd like to log in 2 exhibits, very simple, very quick things, just to kind of paint the picture of where we're at. The first one, we'll call Exhibit A1. It's just an existing conditions aerial. And then Exhibit A2 will be, we'll call it the survey rendering. It was submitted with the initial application. We just added some color to it to show you what's going on the site. So as stated, we're directly off of Glassboro Road here, also known as Route 322. And our closest intersection there is Tuckahoe Road, which I believe our last applicants were located off there, Renegade. All in all, the site is about 6.11 acres, as you can see outlined in that dashed magenta colored line. And then we have additional business areas pretty much surrounded completely around us by the BP1 zone. So just to kind of paint a picture of where we're at and get a feel for what's going on around us. So if we look at Exhibit A2, the survey rendering, a little more zoomed in, a little more broken down as to what we're looking at here on site. So there is, as previously stated, 2 buildings on site. This is Building A right here, approximately 36,000 square feet. I believe it's the cheerleading school is off to the left-hand side here, and we occupy this portion, Millennial Pools, off to the right-hand side there. Building B, known as Building B over here off to the far right, is another building, around 24,000 square feet, and that's occupied by a gymnastics school and some kind of baseball training academy. The name escapes me. Overall on the site, we have a total of, 42 parking stalls along the fronts of the building. There is this, I'm going to call this auxiliary lot off to the right-hand side there. I would assume that there is some sort of access agreement, parking agreement, that this lot can be utilized by these. There is, I'm going to call this the auxiliary parking area that Max had talked about earlier. This stoned area off to the west side of the site. It would house approximately 50 vehicles, standard size vehicles. There's nothing delineated out there. That's just an engineering estimate that I provided. Additionally, when I went to the site, I had noticed there's some striping in the rear here that can accommodate around 27 additional vehicles. There was signage here identifying that the parking to the rear was, I believe it's the gymnastics school that's right here. So that's utilized by them. With the site, there is several loading and overhead doors around the buildings. I believe there's 4 in the rear of this building. Millennial Pools, we have 2 overhead doors, one being here, the other being here. And then there is, I believe, 3 overhead doors along this side of the building, and then there's 2 overhead doors in the rear of the building. So there is plenty of area for loading and unloading. I wouldn't think that gymnastics or baseball academies would really have a need for any kind of deliveries like that. I did notice the baseball academy, they use this door over here to kind of practice in the field on the side. I did notice that when I had stopped by the site. As previously stated, we are in the BP, the Business Park District, and we were classified as a light industrial type use. I would consider this more equal to like a warehousing or / distribution, which is an approved use in the zone, but we do have that component where we're repackaging goods, so that's kind of where we slid into that, I guess, light industrial classification. So as previously stated, we're all aware of the positive and negative criteria, the special reasons, so I'd like to jump right into those. Item A states that your application will encourage municipal action for appropriate uses and development of all the lands, which promote public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. We heard some operational testimony regarding safety, how chemicals are handled, some operational components of the operation there. So I do feel that it is a safe operation, and it does consider the general welfare, which we do have to consider because we do have these adjacent uses to us. Any concerns that may arise with operational issues, I feel that we would adequately address in site plan submission, the forthcoming submission for that will be reviewed by your board professionals, so that should address any of those issues. Item C, under the special reasons that the use can provide adequate light, air, and open space. We are not proposing any new impervious areas. All the areas, grassed areas, will remain as is. Any drainage facilities will remain as is. There's a large wooded area to the rear of the site, as well as some different grass areas around the site. So we won't be disturbing any of those or increasing any impervious surfaces. Item D, under the special reasons, state that it will not conflict, our proposed use will not conflict with the development general welfare of neighboring municipalities, the county, or the state as a whole. When we look at a use such as ours, I consider it a relatively low impact use. You heard testimony about the number of employees, the number of deliveries. 2 to 3 per week. We have 15 to 20 employees. So I would consider this a relatively low-impact use. I don't believe there'll be any like large truck traffic or anything of that nature, anything in excess of a few box trucks a week. Relatively limited business hours. You have those weekday hours. So that would certainly not conflict with anything. Being in a business park district, I really don't see it conflicting with any of the adjacent uses. Item E states to promote and establish appropriate population densities and concentrations, again, that will contribute to the well-being of persons, neighborhoods, communities, and regions. So as Max had stated, our adjacent uses, they tend to operate more during the evening and weekend hours, which in my professional opinion is a nice complementary use, being that we operate more during standard hours. I did drive by the site this evening. I would say we were probably right around 6 o'clock. So the parking spaces were utilized. There may have been some overlap there, but generally speaking, I do consider us a good complementary use, and I certainly consider us an appropriate use for the zone. Which leads into item G. The approved use for the BP zone the approved use of warehousing and distribution is permitted, which I believe that we truly are a more of a warehousing and distribution type use, a service type use, with those little minor components of like a light manufacturing, the repackaging of goods. So I do feel that the Business Park District is an appropriate district for a use such as ours. Item I states to promote a desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design and arrangement. I would only assume that this site was previously approved. The site at which these items were addressed and were designed to the standard at the time when the site was built. So I took a look at the lighting around the site. There appeared to be wall packs around the perimeter of all the buildings, so adequately lighting the surrounding area. The landscaping, generally speaking, tend to be in pretty good condition. Well-established shrubs along both sides of the facilities, all around. Obviously, the wooded area to the rear, very well-established wooded type area. Next step in the request for use variance is approaching the negative criteria. Will this use not substantially harm the public good? Being located in a business park, again, I feel this is an extremely appropriate use for a business park area. We're distanced from any residential areas, so I don't foresee any harm to the public good. Again, we heard about some operational issues, safety issues, licensing issues that all must be addressed prior that would certainly secure that there's no detriment or harm to the public good. And again, any of these concerns or anything of that nature will certainly be addressed and scrutinized in the site plan submission that will hopefully be forthcoming. Item B, under the negative criteria, states that it will not impair the purpose or intent of the zoning ordinance or the master plan. So again, I feel that our use is very similar to like a warehousing use, therefore, in essence, aligning with some of the approved use, again, being a warehousing type facility. We have no real manufacturing taking on place. This is just a repackaging operation for certain limited materials. In the 2022 master plan, again, it outlines certain things relating to the need for commercial facilities. I'm assuming that prior to Millennial Pools occupying the building, it was vacant. The town outlines that there's only about 3.1 commercial percentage makeup of the town, while there's 78.1% residential. So being able to occupy a commercial space is beneficial not only to the person who owns the facility, but to the municipality. The last thing we want is underutilized, underoccupied buildings in the facility, which would certainly be a good contributor to the commercial base, and again, while impacting the surroundings, minimal impact to any of the surroundings. So in my professional opinion, I do feel that the proposed use for Millennial Pools in the Business Park District is appropriate for the zone and beneficial for the municipality. Thank you, Sam. Absolutely.
So at this time, Mr. Chairman, we would turn it over to your professionals and the board if they have any questions.
Thank you. Adam?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We heard testimony tonight where the site is located. It's at 1041 Glassboro Road, also known as 322, Suite A3 and A4, located within our business park zoning district. The proposed use is a pool management company. I would agree, this could be looked, it falls under our ordinance as light industrial. It's similar to a warehouse use in that respect, but it is light industrial in this case. In accordance with 175, 163C1, light industrial uses where permitted shall comply with the following standards. It is known as a conditional use inside of our zoning district. There are conditions in here. Some of them, such as no noxious, offensive, or hazardous use shall be permitted unless adequate provision is made to reduce that. There's a couple other conditions in here that cannot be met by the applicant as stated, and that is why we're here for the D3 conditional use variance tonight. There's also a provision, it is a pre-existing nonconformity, but no lot shall have upon it more than one principal permitted use. Obviously, there's quite a few principal permitted uses out here. Again, that's a pre-existing nonconforming condition, but it has been noted. The applicant, I believe, gave a little bit of testimony that if there's any NJDEP or health department permits necessary to operate, that they will take care of that. We heard a little bit about there's no mixing of hazardous chemicals or making of any new products on site, which was good to hear. The number of vehicles stored on site, I believe we heard a little bit about. They're not there in the summer. They are there in the winter. Correct me if I'm
It's the
misrepresenting that.
opposite, correct,
Reverse?
Max?
No, they're there in the wintertime, not there in the summer.
Okay.
They're there in the winter, not there in the
Correct.
summer. Correct, okay. As Mr. Arresta presented, there is positive and negative criteria that must be met with the D3 conditional use variance. I would also agree that the positive criteria presented does appear to outweigh the negative. This is a BP, Business Park District. This type of use is what is envisioned in this district. On the negative side, I would also agree that we need adaptive reuse of our commercial space in town. I think this fits that, rather than building a new building, clearing trees, environmental impacts, anything like that on a different site. This puts to use an existing building that is sat vacant, and then proves to kind of serve the public good and bring in a new rateable into town. Again, this is appropriate area, there's not residential uses, there's nothing sensitive around us or surrounding us, it is in a business park. The use seems very contained as well, right? They're in a warehouse, then they take these chemicals, they go to sites, and then the trucks come back. So it's very well contained, seems like a good operation. What I would speak to, I understand the site plan waiver request has been withdrawn. I would just like to note that there will be no outdoor storage on site, is that correct?
That is correct.
If we could get some testimony on that, just put it on the record. And then anything, anything that is outside or may be dropped off, is anything going to be dropped off after hours or may sit outside for a little while or anything like that? No, it gets dropped off and goes right inside?
Yeah, for the most part, there have been
Speaking of
instances,
the mic, sorry.
there have been instances where our pool chemical supplier will come and drop them off at 6 o'clock in the morning right outside.
Okay.
But it's, as soon as we get there, that's the first thing that should be coming inside.
Okay, all right. And nothing, I took a drive by the site. Of the understanding that you're cleaning up the site and things like that. It is, it's a cluttered site. There's a lot of uses in there. There's a lot of people in there. I'm assuming when Mr. Agresta puts together a site plan, we'll see layouts for where the dumpsters will be, how they'll be accessed, how they'll turn around and remove those dumpsters safely and in accordance with all the other uses that are occupying the space. As far as parking goes, I'll just put it on the record. Being that it's a shared facility, the parking calculation, we would want to, I would ask and I would recommend that we see sufficient parking shown for all the uses, take account of all the uses that are out there, make sure that the facility can accommodate all the uses and that the parking criteria is met for what you need. It sounds like you have quite a few, you have a lot of vehicles, it sounds like. So if they are going to be parked on site, we need to make sure there's adequate parking for them. And if you're going to be parking them inside the ACE easement that's over there, I would recommend that the board have some kind of documentation that they are allowed to use that area, for their parking facilities. I know it's a stone gravel lot, but let's just make sure Ace doesn't need access. They show up one day and, there's a bunch of trucks parked underneath there and they can't get to anything, so.
Certainly.
Adam, can I stop you there for a second?
Sure.
So that'll be part of the site plan, because that's what I was going to ask you about, this gravel lot that, was it approved for them to?
Correct, so.
I know exactly what they're talking about.
Right, I just want to put it on the record that,
Right.
this will all be addressed when they come back for site
Right,
plan
that it's,
approval.
especially they're going to be stored there through the winter, that they're in a spot.
Exactly.
Dan, as well as lot, and I can barely read it, lots to the right, that lot that you indicated, kind of, the traffic, there was an overflow traffic, and I think is that paved? It's not paved, it's dirt and grass and, right below that.
This one?
This lot here is paved.
Right below that, that's people parking.
Below this is actually a grassed area, and that's where I said I had seen, they have an overhead door there for the baseball training camp. They were actually using that for baseball. They were having a catch out there, so it is a grassed area. The stoned area is off to the, is this the west? Off to the west side.
And Adam, you said that's Lennox City Electric easement?
Correct. Yeah,
The
they have
entire
high,
width
they
of
have the
it?
high tension lines
That's
right
what I do
underneath
recall
them.
now, visually recall that now, so.
Yeah,
Right.
so.
So if they can't get the easement from Atlantic Electric, they won't be able to use that. They'll have to find some other area to park their trucks during the winter.
They would have to substantiate that site plan. I'm sure that would require variance
Right.
and,
Right.
so on and so forth. So, that would just need to be discussed. So, we'll see a lot of this at site plan, but I would agree that the use as it stands is appropriate for the area.
I have another question to you. I don't know if you can answer this. These chemicals that they're going to be storing, would that be subject to the fire department saying that it's okay to store this there, especially since there's going to be two things on either side of them with children, that the chemicals that they're storing aren't, hazardous to the,
Absolutely. I mean, they would be subject to all local approval, so our fire department making sure that everything's stored correctly and the hazardous materials are taken care of. And again, that's why we've kind of stated here, DEP, Health Department,
Right.
local approvals, they need to get and
we'll
make sure
be
they have
addressing
all
the
their
chemicals that they're storing, and then the fire department would know that that's in there if there's ever a fire.
Correct.
That
Correct.
sort of chemicals are being stored in there, right? So we don't have to be concerned that it's going to be addressed,
You're absolutely right.
right?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Adam.
If I could note, the only materials that may be stored outside would be salt, to which any container for outside salt storage will be identified on the site plan when we get there. And it'll all be in compliance with your municipal code in terms of outside storage containers.
I had a question. You noted lifeguards and seasonal training, like 800 employees, or W-2 to 1099. Are they coming into the facility for training as well, or do they ever present to the site?
No, so the lifeguards never come to the office, or I should say very rarely do they ever come to the office. We supply lifeguards all across the state of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. So for those trainings, we use facilities like TCNJ, Rowan, Hess School down in Mays Landing, Plainsboro High School up in North Jersey, a few places along the Jersey City area. So none of the training takes place at our office. It's always at outside facilities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam, are you okay with this salt being stored outside? They're talking about, I don't know exactly what they're talking about, pallets of salt?
The salt being stored outside, if what I'm envisioning would be almost like a container, it would have to be covered and it would have to be broken up from any stormwater runoff or anything like that. It would have to be completely enclosed. It
Salt,
cannot,
what's the salt being used for the pools or for,
Yes.
it sounds like it would be used for.
so it'd be
I'm sorry.
outside storage?
I'm speaking out of turn. Go ahead, Max.
It's, in the off-season, we've done some business with rock salt, so the stuff that goes down on the roads. We actually order the exact stuff from the exact same supplier as Monroe does.
So,
Just to follow up to that question.
Go ahead.
So that the pallets are going to be in the front of the building?
No.
In the back?
Yeah.
The bulk like bags?
Oh, no, sorry, it would come in the tri-axle and get dumped inside of the enclosure.
so, just so I understand, you're basically saying when you're not doing the pool work, you're trying to supplement your business by spreading salt on the roads?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any chance of you letting that go? I mean, that outdoor storage and storing, we're talking about something different now. Now you're talking about a bunch of trucks, or if you're loading up a bunch of trucks in the wintertime with salt, and they're coming in and leaving, we're talking about a different operation now. We're not talking about pools anymore. We're talking about, kind of in a way, a landscaper's yard.
Second business.
Right.
And that it's going to be outside storage. I'm more concerned with, and then you got
Kids.
taking the space.
Right. I mean, would you be willing to let that go? Should the board consider the use variance approval tonight? Is that something, I mean, you could discuss it with your attorney, obviously, but.
Or find
Yeah.
another location
Yeah,
for it.
for that specific part.
Right, yeah.
So we're not, full disclosure, so we're not loading up trucks and having them spray it everywhere. That's part of the repackaging where they put it into a bucket and that gets shipped out via FedEx and UPS. So we don't have a constant traffic of cars coming.
But but you just noted though, can you speak to the off-season where you said that you are providing salt because you work with another salt company? So I think what you just stated was more related to your business, but we just heard testimony that you have salt for other reasons. So you said,
So
I'm just a little
the salt
confused.
gets packaged into buckets and that gets shipped out to homeowners that buy it online.
To what? Spread it on the road?
So people use it for their driveways, their sidewalks.
So you don't physically put it on the roads?
No, we don't put it on those.
But it's going to be outside storage. Let's deal with that, the outside storage.
Correct.
And that's what they said they weren't going to do, and you stressed that, and now they're talking about outside storage,
Correct.
right?
Yeah,
And that component comes with the site plan submission. That may or may not be on the plans after we've
A condition of the approval, variance approval could be that you're not allowed to have any outside storage.
Right.
Of anything.
That's fine.
right, exactly. It's hard to substantiate, especially salt, salt in the state of New Jersey is regulated. And you guys you don't have a robust stormwater system in the back of this building, right? Any salt that's exposed to water or anything like that runs off and goes down in the stormwater system. And then it runs out. That's the issue with basically the salt business and being there, is those areas are usually heavily regulated by the DEP whenever you have outdoor storage areas like that, storing those materials. So it presents kind of a little bit of an issue. I understand you're trying to supplement your business and everything like that, you're a summertime business, but it may be something that you want to consider with your attorney.
And also now they're manufactured by prepackaging it. It's another, no, for the other stuff.
They're going to be out there packaging it.
Okay. I'm concerned with the outside storage.
In speaking with the applicant, in consideration of the comments made by your professionals as well as the board, the applicant's going to withdraw any exterior item storage on the site. So he will make a condition of approval this evening that in the event the board is inclined to grant the use variance application, will be conditioned on the fact that he is not permitted to store any materials outside.
Good. Good.
Yes.
I have
Good.
a question. Does the building require a 704 placard because of the chemicals? Is the,
I'm not entirely sure. That would be up to, the township regulation, the construction code officials and things like that. I'm not 100%.
Any more questions? You have anything else?
No, that's enough.
Okay, I'm going to open to the public now. Is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on behalf of application 25-48 Millennium Pools Management LLC? Seeing none, there's a motion to close the public portion.
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Fury.
Okay, just to summarize the application, the applicant is seeking a variance under D3 conditional use portion of the municipal land use law. According to our code, there are certain conditions that, or according to the testimony of our planner, there are certain conditions that cannot be met by the applicant. The applicant's made aware of that, and a lot of them are going to be addressed in site plan. So we talked about the labeled site plan between the variance application. The only thing you're voting on tonight would be on the use variance, whether or not you would allow the use, subject to all the conditions we talked about, and most importantly, subject to no outside storage. The balancing test you have to utilize was the same as other applications. There's a positive and negative criteria that council will have addressed on behalf of this client. You have to be satisfied that the applicant satisfied that burden. You've heard the testimony from Mr. Can't even think, Adam, can't even speak tonight. Long day. Adam, about his concerns, they're contained within the, for the most part, in his review letter. And again, all this will be addressed at site plan. So you need a motion to approve.
Okay. Members, your pleasure in regards to application 25-48.
Motion approved. Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Colavita?
I think the applicant has proven that it functions more like a warehouse. It's appropriate for the zone. There's no detriment to the public good. Yes.
Mr. Carino?
Yes, as stated.
Mr. Deary?
Yes, as stated.
Mr. Hefner?
I'm going to say yes, pending what they're going to have to go through with site plan. They got a lot of work ahead of them.
Mr. Kozak?
With the addition of the solicitor said about no outside storage.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Yes, as stated.
Okay, this variance is approved.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is application 26-10, David McPeters, rear yard variance. Please step up to the microphone. Adam, are you done for tonight? You're out of here. Have a good, have a good night.
Riveting stuff.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you, Adam. Can this application be deemed complete? Is there a motion to deem the application complete? All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Fury?
Okay, the applicant is David McPeters. He's seeking a rear yard variance to allow 11 feet where 12 feet is required for the construction of a 580-foot, 4-foot square foot deck. The property is located at 1137 Lafayette Street in the RGPR zoning district. Just raise your right hand, please. State your name for the record.
David McPeters?
Swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. McPeters, in your own words, I'm sorry that you were put dead last. I don't know who did that to you. But in your own words, can you explain to the board why you're here tonight?
Yeah, so I'm seeking a variance to construct a large deck, 36.6 in length, running lengthwise along the house and extending 16 feet out from the house. And if I could, I don't know if the survey that I submitted is color-coded, but I'd like to draw your attention there. If you see the rear setback in what's noted as Lot 17, Block 110, that's the future site of the enclave. And as you can see from the drawing that I submitted, the 12-foot is well intact there. The highlighted on what I have in pink on yours, it may just be kind of a scribbled, it's Lot 10. That is part of the drainage for Lafayette Estates and is classified as open space owned by the township, and that is where I'm encroaching inside that 12-foot area. So the reason for the 16-foot extension is basically that's just what's available for nominal lumber and trying to maximize the size of the deck. And also, as you can see, where the stairs jet out into my yard, that's really the only flat area that I have. That's where the swing set is, that's where the kids play. So we're just trying to have a large outdoor space for the family to gather and use.
Members of the board have questions for the applicant? Just give us a few seconds.
Yeah, sure.
That's the open space. Sit back here. I'm just gonna be right here.
Can I just ask you a question?
Go ahead, John.
Just to kind of clarify things, just so you meet your burden of proof, the lots that are, the homes that are contained in block 11001, lot 17, you said that's vacant, or is that where the enclave is going to be?
That's the future site of the enclave. I'm not actually sure if it was approved, their variance.
I'm just wondering if there are any other existing
Where is
houses
the
there,
setback?
if other
Where is
people
the-
have decks similar to what?
So neighbors to my left, both one house next to me and
11
above
foot
them,
9,
all
where's
have decks of
12
similar
inches,
size,
12 foot?
but in measuring, they're inside that 12 feet. I'm not sure if they were
Okay.
approved for
But it's
variance.
similar nature to the neighborhood, it's not going to stand out.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
I just, to point out, I made a typo on the agenda. It's 12 and a half feet required,
And he has 11 foot 9 inches.
just so your resolution is clear. I didn't, on the agenda though.
Oh, I'm
Just
sorry.
That information.
I'm sorry.
So 8 inches. Okay. Any questions? Seeing none, then motion to open to the public?
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on behalf of application 26-10? Seeing none, motion to close the public portion.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Fury?
Okay, application 2610, David McPeters, subject matter property, 1137 Lafayette Street. The gentleman is seeking a variance to allow, for the rear yard variance to allow 11 feet where 12 feet is required. Provide testimony in support of the negative versus positive criteria. You need a motion to approve.
All right, members, your pleasure in regards to application 26-10.
Make a motion to approve.
Roll call.
Mr. Hefner?
Yes, it fits everything else that's going on that road.
Mr. Carino?
Yes, as stated.
Mr. Deary?
Yes, as stated.
Mr. Kozak?
Due to the regular shape of the property and the location of the house, along with the adjacent property being township open space, yes.
Mr. Rice?
Yes, as stated.
Mr. Colavita?
It's de minimis, yes.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Yes, as stated. He loves that word.
You're approved.
Makes me look smart, especially when I put my glasses on.
Learn some more words.
Can I just say one more thing for the record, too? I wanted to thank Ms. Gallagher. She's been incredibly helpful.
For putting you last?
One, for getting me into this meeting. I'm deploying, so she was able to get me in. But also, just as a homeowner and township resident, she's been incredibly helpful in guiding me through the process. So, thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
All right, thank you all.
Resolutions, Mr. Fury.
Okay, there are 3 resolutions on the agenda this evening for approval. If the board so chooses, you can handle them by way of consent agenda. The first is number 19, 2026, and that's 26-04, Charmaine Thomas, side yard variance approval. Number 2026, and that's 26-06, Louis Lucchetto, rear yard variance approval. And then the final resolution is resolution number 21-2026, number 25-39, Daria and Son and Air Heating, LLC, where the use variance was denied and the site plan application was withdrawn.
Our members, your pleasure in regards to resolutions 26, or 19, 20, and 21.
Motion approved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Public portion. Is there a motion to open to the public?
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on behalf of any application? Seeing none, is a motion to close the public portion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the March 9th, 2026 minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Reports? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank